Hi.
Hi there. Hi there in your cable knit. Your sexy cable knit.
Well, in a very Mrs. Claus type way.
I am obsessed with cable knit sweaters.
Really?
Yeah. I had one. The shoulders were...
Oh, yeah, the blue. Yeah, that was a nice
Where I
one.
had the shoulder pads.
Shoulder pads.
Yeah, I'm just really digging it and the color.
Yeah, it is like a nice purple.
Like mauve-ish.
Mauve-ish purple. This is my new favorite color. I love like dusty rose and this mauve color.
Love dusty rose. Don't like pink. Love dusty rose.
Well, my bathroom's pink. I painted my bathroom pink, so I obviously...
Oh, sorry. I mean, you have a lovely pink bathroom. And
No,
I love the color.
I picked it because it's like so bold and weird, and like I always pick dark colors. And,
It was not pink before. Was it when you first moved? Oh, there it is.
well, except for like I painted it like the first or second week I was here, so
I like
it's
that.
definitely always been pink since you've been here.
Okay.
I'm glad you didn't notice because I always think like, oh, it's so bold and distracting.
No, I
But why
like when
wouldn't you?
people do that.
Yeah.
I have a friend who painted their bathroom. Like everything is pretty neutral and it's pretty classic styled. And then her bathroom is this like bright ass orange.
Yeah.
When you go in, she's just like, I needed something.
Yeah, I desperately want to paint. I want to have a black bathroom. This one's too small. And there's only one window, so it's like it's a little cave like.
A black bathroom.
But I would love like a shiny black bathroom with like.
What if you put stars on the ceiling, like 80s style, and you can feel like you're in a galaxy far, far away?
I don't know about those, but I would do the paint, like just glow in the dark paint, and just have
Hilarious.
like a real constellation up there. That'd be cool for bath time.
Or have like, can you do invisible ink somehow and have messages?
Yeah, if you just did like a matte, like if you did the wall as glossy and then you painted a message in a matte paint or an eggshell, it would only show in certain lighting what it says. That'd be cool.
I like that. And they're just, I haven't seen you in a while, but this seems to all go back to the cult thing we've been talking about. Like, no, just the messages. These can be like your indoctrination type of messages. Whenever we're recording, we talk about the cult. And I think that you could do something here.
Oh, I was so confused. I was like, bathrooms?
Yeah, it's the bathroom cult. You haven't heard of that specific one?
It's the Bloody Mary cult. You say it 3 times, then you're in the cult. That's how we indoctrinate
Did you
you.
ever do Bloody Mary, Hillary? God, I wanted it to work. I stared at my face so fucking hard, and all it did was I just started seeing double. Nothing happened.
No.
I was truly afraid of someone being under the bed or hiding in the closet. So whenever I was the last one, I watched a lot of America's Most Wanted growing up. And I don't know why.
We're just looking for your neighbors.
Man,
It is Ohio.
I have had an eye out for murders since I was little, apparently. And I would be the last one going up. I'd have this like fear that something would be at my heels. I don't know what it was, but I turn off all the lights and then race up every time. And I just had this thing.
Yeah. I still have to all the doors have to be closed. I do not like open doors. Like the bathroom door is open right now, but like if I was going to sleep, I'd need to close the door. Every door.
What do you think is going to happen?
Windows. I just don't like when things creak. It freaks me out. I don't like creaking. Stop the creaking, guys.
It's the house settling. I'm like, that makes me nervous.
Yeah.
When people say that, I'm like, settling into what? Like the structure's coming apart? I don't
Exactly.
understand.
Exactly. What exactly are we supposed to be?
What are we settling?
What are you placating me for? What's happening here? This place is
It's
obviously
an old
haunted.
house. It's just settling.
Yeah. Well, spirits are unsettled, and that's the problem.
Unsettling.
Yeah.
And you know what they're looking for? Your galaxy bathroom so that they can disappear into,
Yeah. Well, now I'm rethinking my whole black bathroom because I couldn't see a ghost coming, or anything coming at me.
Welcome to Strong Female Lead, guys.
Yeah.
I'm Trisha.
I'm Tessa.
We're here.
I said my own name so sadly. I'm just here,
I'm
guys.
Tessa.
Yeah. Still Tessa.
You're still Tessa, but you're in this. God, is there something we haven't caught up in a bit?
I was like, how far can we do this? Tessa.
Usually we do a little greasing the wheels and kind of catch up before we start recording, but this episode is us greasing the wheels.
Yeah.
And it's starting.
Yeah. We're in it.
What have you, so I really haven't, I have been watching I have been watching some stupid shows, I guess. But what have you been watching lately? Anything you think the listeners should tune into?
You should definitely be watching the USA version of The Purge, which is on Hulu right now. If you liked the Purge movies or the Purge as a premise.
It's a series?
Yeah, now it's a series. And they do a surprisingly good job of adapting the movie to what I'm assuming is going to be like an anthology series where the next season will get a completely new cast.
It's a great
people experiencing the Purge
plot line.
Yeah,
like I mean, the movie was kind of silly, but the like plot of it, I love. It's very dystopian
like the movies.
/ horror.
I saw all of them. Like I like the Purge as a idea that's out in the world. Not that I advocate that happens, but I'm like I like this idea. It's like really confronting of like what are people okay with and why are they okay with it.
And the state of affairs now, don't push for the Purge. You never know. You never know.
Well, I mean, population control is a big problem, and no one is addressing it.
Is that what they did in the Avengers?
Yeah, a Thanos type situation. Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, it's a population control sitch?
Well, I think the Purge is more about population control and like kind of getting rid of the less desirables who are quote unquote. I'm doing air quotes for all of this. For
a lot of socioeconomic.
Yeah, the less desirables are the ones who are being purged,
which are the ones that just don't have as much money.
Exactly.
So they don't have a big security system to save.
Exactly. And then like,
I know, right? God.
Yeah. But then like, I like the series version because you kind of get like five stories of people experiencing the Purge. Like there's a couple who they are against the Purge, but they need to, combine forces with the new founding fathers in order to start this business that's going to help people. And they're like, do we take the devil's money in order to do something good? And so you see them do that. There's a guy who's trying to find his sister. So and then she turns into an SFL. And yeah.
So you have some stories kind of threading.
Yeah, it was good. I liked it.
Maybe I'll do that.
Yeah. It's pretty, actually they're longish episodes, like maybe 45 minutes per episodes, but I think they're only 10 though.
Okay. That's doable.
Yeah.
Nice.
I watched it while I was baking, so that's an idea for you.
I like that. I'm gonna look at that one. I was watching I'm not gonna say it right. Ad Vitam. It's French. Yes. I'm pretty sure. Oh boy. Yeah, it popped up on my queue because I've gotten into, no joke, teen dystopian series.
Okay.
Real weird. Not sure how, but well, no, I do know
like
how.
Like a Hunger Games type
teen
thing?
Stuff. No, more like not Hunger Games, but like a real. I don't know, man.
Like closer to Handmaid's Tale than Hunger Games. Well, I guess they're both hungry. Everyone's hungry.
Like just really trashy ones. So they don't even have like super good plots. Like I mean, one I started watching and stopped was basically like planet Earth was no longer habitable and they were living up in space, and then they dropped a bunch of kids from this space community onto Earth to see if it was habitable again. And they're like, it's like sort of like survival, kind of like dystopian, but sort of survival-ish kind of movies. Well, anyways, this one popped up. It was actually really good. It was set in the future. I don't know exactly when, but society figures out how to regenerate. So you don't have to die. So you can, like some of the people are like 170 years old and they look maybe like 45 or something. So they've lived generations. But while this is happening, they have population control situation.
Well, that seems like the obvious ending. Like, no
so
one's dying.
So there's a movement, and it starts a little bit like you think it's a suicide movement, and it's these kids who think that there's no place for them anymore because they're not going to grow into adults taking, moving society and like progressing. Basically, it's just being taken care of. There's no place for them. So you think it's a suicide cult, and some of them are committing suicide, but really it ends up that there's like a larger force and a larger powerful group that's actually killing off the teens that aren't able to regenerate. So you get tested to see if you have the ability to regenerate. So there's this like church movement that's basically like, we want to have a beginning and an end to our life, like something that we've achieved, fulfilled. The people who keep regenerating keep getting like, they sort of lose spark, like humanity, I don't know, they lose something in themselves each time they regenerate. And anyways, it was super fascinating.
You put everything off till, forever.
Well, they're still like moving and like shaking, and I'm like, for what? But then they're getting depressed because they're like, we don't know why
so
we're doing anything.
Teens are depressed, or the elder regenerated people are depressed?
Some of the regenerated people are sort of like, I don't know what I see. I don't know what I stand for anymore. Like nothing means anything at this point, but they want to keep living. So there's this existential fear of death, but like no real thought into like what this looks like in the future. And so there's kind of an emptiness all around, but this movement's going on, and there's a true SFL girl who's in it and like is helping a detective infiltrate the cult and figure out what's going on. And she is a fucking badass. Like, it might actually be a good one to do sometime, but it was, I don't know, it was random. And then I just started watching. That's it. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Oh, God. All right. Well, here we are. So what are we doing today?
So we're still talking rom-coms. But I think this one's again. I think a rom-com for me is a very hard balance to strike. Apparently. I think this is really heavy on the com.
Yeah.
There is some comedy. Rom. It's a hard comedy. It's so
not real
though.
Rom.
It's not real rom. And I'm like,
no one is super
forgiven.
romantic.
I loved it too much to hold any sort of a grudge or critique against it.
It's only Rom because she's trying to lose her virginity.
Yeah.
Like, at least that's what I was like, oh, but there's nothing romantic about any of these, any scene.
No. Oh, her poor boyfriend. This week we watched Chewing Gum, which is another Netflix, a show available on Netflix. I think it's originally on BBC, starring Michaela Coel, who is amazing.
Just dynamo. Like a total fucking dynamo.
Mm-hmm. Another series based off a play. So this is, in my opinion, in the same, very, very similar to Fleabag, yeah. And I was like, which came first? Fleabag or...
Yeah, which did? This was 2015.
Yeah.
I don't know when Fleabag came out, but they both were perfect in breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Except Fleabag was a little more meta and like a little bit darker. But they both... I loved when they did it. I was like, I want to be there. And I usually am just like, stop.
Yeah. I loved it. Yeah, I love the way Michaela Coel and co used the fourth wall, because I think it was a little different than Fleabag, where in Fleabag I thought I was like her conscience. Like the way that she uses her asides. Well, I thought that like I was also like in her mind, like, oh, like she wouldn't have been saying this to somebody else. Whereas in this one, I thought like, oh, I'm just like another friend who just hasn't come on screen yet. Like I'm also in the room. Like I'm also hearing and seeing all the things that she's seeing. Loved it. It was great.
Well, the funny thing about Fleabag is the only person who can tell is the pastor.
Yeah.
So there's like something like semi-spiritual about that one. Maybe like she's talking to
like God or something.
Or like
the sexy priest.
Someone in the middle, you know?
Yeah.
Like straddling the line. He can see it also, and so can she.
You're right. And that's why I kind of, at least in the beginning with Fleabag, I thought maybe we were her friend.
Or maybe like no one's
her
paying
dead
attention
friend
to her enough, and like the guy who actually loves her is. And that's why he can notice her doing that. And like her family is too wrapped up in their own. Like her parents don't give a shit about her.
No one
as much as they care
actually
about
cares about
and
her.
Her sister and her sister's husband are like on another planet.
Yeah.
But he's like truly paying attention to her.
And they don't care about her, but also are frustrated with the fact that situations and social situations and issues tend to center around her as well. So it's like this weird dynamic where it's like, I don't care at all about you, but like, why are you the center of everything that we're doing? And it's kind of the same here with the lead character. Oh God, what was Tracy? She's the center, and that whole thing with her and her sister. I had to ask you, is that anything like your relationships with your sisters? Is there anyone that's like, let me be seen?
I mean, I feel like
it was awesome.
I feel like all of my sisters are kind of like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Her sister.
I loved her sister's character so much. Like, I died.
Good.
Like, I would watch
good.
a show of just that girl going through life.
Laughing out loud for every scene she was in. I was like, you are incredible.
Yes. And I was like, she's scene stealing. Like, she has some, like, off comment about, like, when Tracy is like, we have the same period. This might be season 2, so I apologize.
No, this is the last episode of season 1.
Oh, okay. When she's like, do you want my period pad? And I was like, wait, what?
Whoa.
Is there one pad between the two of you? Whoa. What's happening? What?
Okay, that was not. They talk about their period a bunch because they use it as an excuse. It's so old school. They're like, I'm sorry, I'm on my period. I'm sorry, I'm on my period.
I loved it. Ugh.
She was incredible.
In that damn game, and I was like, I would just hurt you. I would just,
And her
Tracy, you're a saint for not like just breaking everything that associated with that game. I would just break it.
Wait, what game?
She keeps asking her if she wants to play a game. Like when she asked her and Tracy, like, how do you envision us in the future? She's like, oh, I just imagine us older, but doing the same game. And I was like, I would stab you with that game. I have felt so much rage towards this game.
Is it an actual game? Oh, yeah, it's the game that she ends up playing with her cousin.
God.
Oh, God. Okay, so what's it about? What's the premise? I mean,
it pretty much follows the life of Tracy, who's a 24-year-old virgin living in or outside London, I think. So she's on this mission to, at the beginning of the series, have sex with her boyfriend for the first time. They've been together for like 8 years, and like he's a super Christian.
Also,
he is very funny.
Cracked
very funny. Up. Yeah, and I was like, where are you hiding these people? What is going on in England?
He looked so familiar though, and I don't know why.
Did. Yeah.
I feel like I've seen him and stuff, but he made the best faces.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God,
I loved him.
But they live in a housing project, so everyone, it seems like everyone is kind of in each other's business, and not that that's like what you do, but they all seem to know each other.
Yeah.
And have ideas and impressions about each other, and then her mom is like the street corner preacher.
Yeah.
Who's fucking hilarious as well.
Her mom was scary, and I was like, what's happening? Oh, you're so scary.
Yeah, no, she's scary.
Oh, she's not scary. She's very intense. I was like, oh. You're just like, oh my God. There's a scene where somebody throws a Bible at someone, which is like my literal favorite thing. If I see it in a movie, I'm like, yes, throw Bibles at people. That's how you get a point across. That's how you spread Christ's love. Throw that Bible. Get that point. Like, oh, I just love when I see it.
I know, because it's like a book you're supposed to handle with like
with such care and delicacy, and you're just like, why don't you understand this?
The word of the Lord.
Yeah.
It's a story that's been made up and passed for generations.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. I mean, I loved it,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't usually watch comedies, and I don't usually laugh out loud during comedies, and I was laughing. I laughed in every episode, and I watched it a lot on the train.
Yeah.
On my rides home.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun.
I love that show. To me, like, chewing gum is like up there with like It's Always Sunny, or like series that I just watch over and over. Like, I just would throw it on. For me, It's Always Sunny is like, it's always the time for It's Always Sunny. But this is also always, like in the same vein where it's like the jokes land every single time. I've heard them so many times and I do not care. She's just so honest as this character.
Oh, I know.
And season 2 is somehow, again, better than season 1. Everyone is devastated that I don't think there's a season 3, but
they leave them hanging, man. And it's a one woman play, so I guess they would have to redevelop the entire story to make it longer. At least I would think.
Yeah, and I'm like, it just seems like a BBC thing. They're just like, leave them wanting more, and I'm like, or just 3 is a perfect number. Let's go for 3.
Just give it to me forever. Because I'm fine.
Well, that's the American approach. Just like keep doing it.
That's the Grey's Anatomy approach.
Yeah. We're gonna fill this time slot no matter what.
Oh my God. Okay. So her boyfriend's poetry. Sign me the fuck up. I would love to be at a little slam, little poetry slam. I wrote down from one of the episodes. He just kept saying, I think this was at the poetry slam one. Sheep can't fly because they ain't got wings. And I was like, yes.
I always worry that I'm going to run into people like that in my real life and then have to like say something after that show.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
what do you
say?
Do you encourage them to keep going?
Well,
do you give them the realness?
I do, because I'm all about the strange. So bring it.
They think that they're very good, and that
But that's what makes it good.
But that's like me laughing at you, not with you.
I'm definitely laughing at them. So maybe that's just something I've become comfortable with. But the more awkward, the better for me. It's my happy space, and I've been told and instructed by people close to me that maybe I need to take a deep dive into that.
It's like I think everyone likes to be like, when a weird thing is happening, like, oh, I'm gonna stop and observe, or like, appreciate for a moment. But I'm like, I'm always worried that those people are gonna be like fixtures in my life, and then I'll be like, oh, or if I'm that person,
whoa, what if you are?
What if I am?
What if you are, and that's the whole reason we started this podcast?
I'm okay with that.
Intervention.
Yay! Oh, I wish somebody would do an intervention for me. That'd be really nice.
It shows that you care.
Yeah.
They never go well.
I mean, I think it would be fun to just have people write letters and be like, hey, get better. And I'll be like, I'll try.
Dear Tessa, your addiction has negatively impacted my life in the following ways.
Yeah.
I used to watch Intervention.
I loved that show.
It used to be so good, like the early ones.
Mm-hmm. Now I gotta get all those people are now on Dr. Phil and those type shows where it's I need a TV doctor to save my life.
Oh yeah, Dr. Drew.
Mm-hmm.
He weirds me out.
Why?
I think I don't like his face. I don't like him.
Well, okay.
That's
legit.
What would Dr. Drew have to say about the characters on Chewing Gum?
Oh. There's a lot of pathology, that's for sure. I didn't see any addiction other than the boyfriend's mom seems to maybe she has one. They don't show her, but she's kind of struggling, but they don't really portray that. It's more just pure insanity. I mean, they're all just bouncing off of each other. Running around.
I mean,
in circles.
I'd say that there's some narcissism in Michaela Coel's character, in Tracy.
Oh,
but then again, we're seeing this whole thing from her perspective.
Right.
But even again, I'm sorry if this is in season 2, but when she moves in with her friend, and she's doesn't the help do the laundry and stuff like that? And I was like, okay.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
I know. It was, maybe some, and the sister. The sister has something.
She's perfect. I don't think there's anything wrong with her.
She has something going on. And it makes her beautiful.
I think it's just younger child syndrome. I don't know.
I mean, I'm a younger child, but yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to think of her best quotes, but whenever she'd start spouting religious stuff and she's trying to exercise her, oh my God, when she gets, what drugs did she take? I mean, was it meth? What, and coke? When she went on that job, she went. Oh my God.
I thought it was all cocaine, and I was like, oh.
But she took a drink. She drank and she gulped the whole thing down. I'm like, I don't know what that is.
Oh, ecstasy.
That makes sense. But God, that was. And then her sister tried to get the demons out of her. I did, and I like when her sister was she just kind of would say she's doing something and then do the opposite, and I really liked that. She's I'm gluten free, I'm dairy free, and then she's eating a chocolate at the same time. I'm I get that. And then she gets drunk.
The
cousin though, there were times
that was the creepiest part. And season 2, it gets weird. It gets this was awkward. It gets real weird in season 2. You gotta watch season 2.
Why the fuck did that happen? I mean, I'm down for weird, but why?
I thought you were gonna say for cousins, but I was like, Trisha, no.
Yeah, your thing is your thing. No judgment.
It's legal in the UK, so it's fine.
Yeah, is that a thing? I mean, I guess
no idea. They said it, so it was on TV.
Is it just a law that hasn't been changed? Let's look. We're gonna fact check. Yeah, I mean, I was
well, yeah, all those royals are always intermarrying, so that makes sense.
Exactly.
Fact check. It's perfectly legal to marry your first cousin in the UK.
Got it.
Can you check Illinois?
Sure.
Wow. This was so good. I'm so happy you chose it. It was so easy to watch.
I didn't choose this one.
Oh, right. Hillary. Nice.
You can legally marry your cousin in Illinois.
Knew it!
But you have to be over 50, which is...
Damn it!
What?
And I don't know if that number keeps getting older or you have to wait another 20 years before you can do it, or you
How
missed the
dare you
cutoff.
age me, Hillary?
Why? Is there an age requirement?
Wait, does my spouse also need to be 50?
Probably.
I guess, yeah.
Both parties.
Is this so the chances
Oh, I think
of
that means you're not going to have kids.
kids? I was going to say,
You don't know my body.
yeah.
In vitro. I could have my eggs on ice.
Yeah. Weird. Very, very weird. Wow.
Makes me sad about living here.
Learning quite a bit. You know, when I went to Iceland on a trip, it's such a small population there that a lot of them are related. So they told me this. I didn't do the research or look into it, but they said they had a dating app that would show you if you were related. I was like,
Yeah, that's real.
that's progressive. It makes sense because you're not dealing with a lot of folks there, although
Yeah.
they are all beautiful.
Well, yeah.
I truly
You
felt
stole
like
the
a
best of the
troll.
best, so.
100%. I truly was like, you feel trollish. I mean, like, you go there, it's just, like, they're just the Norwegian, oh my God, the hair and the skin. I mean, I was just, oof. So what was your favorite episode, Tessa?
Honestly, all of them.
I know, it's so hard.
Yeah, I just love this show. So probably, I loved season 1, episode 6, which is kind of it's the last episode of the season. And everything is coming to a head in terms of Tracy and her boyfriend at that point, Connor, and then her sister, Cynthia is her name, is engaged to Ronald, Tracy's
Which just
boyfriend.
it seems to happen very quickly. I mean, I don't know the span of time here. Am I saying that right? But like,
yeah.
but it just seems like it was like, oh hey,
Oh no, that's exactly what happened.
because they certainly didn't even kiss or like they don't look like they were ever involved. It was just like, I've identified you as a fiance.
Exactly, and that's how
Very
it goes
Cynthia.
sometimes. Yeah, extremely Cynthia to just go to the extreme, and then like the blinders are on, and she's trying to Tracy's trying to get to her and tell her that.
Oh my God.
He's gay. He's gay. He's gay.
When she's like, I was trying to tell her, and because she was kicked out of the house, she's just knocking on the window. He's gay. He's gay.
And she jumps in the car, and I was like, oh my God.
And the friends hate Tracy.
Yeah, I think she calls her a prostitute at some point. Aren't they like McDonald's play place or something?
Oh, yes. What did she say? She said that like restaurant chains are the devil's work or something. Mm-hmm. So now she goes to like fast food. It was something where like this was the one place she could play. And the hen party.
Yeah,
love
the
that
hen party. Oh, cute.
Oh my God. I loved The Last Supper. I love crashing everyone together for a holiday. And I love when that happens in movies where it's just like, how the fuck are all these people showing up? Like, right? Ronald even shows up, and I love when she's just like, nope. Like, this has already gone too far.
Yeah, and I was like, this is a tiny-ass apartment, but how are all these people here?
And the
and
mom.
boy Tracy just being creepy. Ugh.
Creepy and all like jealous.
Yeah.
Which I was just like, it's so obvious that you're acting jealous. Why isn't anyone picking up on this?
Yeah.
And he shows her the dick pic.
That was disgusting.
Holy fucking shit. Could
Wow.
you imagine?
Could you be more aggressive?
Well, he was aggressive all around. And did this come out 2015? So when did the Harvey Weinstein stuff?
That was 2017.
Okay, because this is truly like the type of behavior that was talked about. Just the like shock and awe.
Never awe.
God,
Always shock.
Yeah, what is it like? What am I thinking of? I'm thinking more of like a military term, like operation.
Ugh.
But it's truly just like, bah!
Yeah.
And God, there's A, nothing sexual about that. B, it's extremely aggressive. And it was super funny in this, but she was kind of like, you wonder if she was talking from any sort of experience.
Yeah.
With that kind of. Ugh.
Well, ew. I would hope not. I'm still just on the fact that this is her cousin, and I'm just like really hoping that you don't just have the most awkward Thanksgiving.
Oh,
every
not
year.
The cousin thing, but like that kind of sexual,
Oh,
like predatory sort of advance. That's what we would say. I don't know.
Yeah. I hope not. But I know that she has expressed that something like that has happened to her.
Okay.
In real life, but after the filming of this.
Got it.
But yeah.
Oh boy.
That's not my story to tell.
It's not my story to tell either. But this show truly did. It examined, like, in a hilarious way, spirituality, sexuality, and I think a lot of diversity too.
Yeah, I think it showed, like, the hypocrisy of each character's desire. Like, the sister Cynthia, like, she's so religious and so staunch, but in her beliefs, but, you know, on the flip side of that, she's, like, the first one to just, like, dedicate herself to anything to feel wanted, anything. And I'm like, okay, well, is your devotion to God even real if the next thing that comes along, you're also just as devoted and just as, like, orthodox in your belief when that thing comes along.
Tracy down.
And yeah, it is. It's very adversarial when she's trying to be very kumbaya.
Yeah.
That's what she presents.
Marrying just trying to marry him.
Like girl code.
Is like an extremely...
Not even like sibling code.
No.
Girl code, basic.
Real wild.
Yeah.
It seemed like a takedown.
Oh, yeah.
And
that... She tries to be the best friend's best friend, and then she's like so offended when it comes out that...
Oh, is that second season?
Oh, sorry.
No, that's
just
okay.
kidding. Yeah, well, she's at it again in season 2.
Cynthia at it again. So she tries to steal the best friend.
Yeah, well, Cynthia and her best friend, it's another C names. Candace.
Oh, right.
But she says it weird. Candice.
Maybe.
Yeah. She says it weird.
Candice.
They're English. They say it correctly.
I'm like, we're probably saying it weird.
Candice. So Candace and Cynthia become friends because Candace and Tracy have a falling out.
And so alignment. Best friends with the enemy.
Oh,
it's the best way to get back at someone.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Align with the enemy. Always.
Never.
I mean, I say always, like, if your strategy is to make that person feel bad, but don't if you're a nice person. Maybe you don't.
Well, I'm just like, how do you come back from that if you're not, like, tied to someone like a sibling?
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess if it's like a salted earth policy, like, I don't ever want to see you again. I'm just going to be the worst.
I'm just going to be the worst.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's hard.
I loved Candace. I liked her boyfriend. I liked every character.
Oh, her boyfriend.
He was so funny.
When he wouldn't do the BDSM, I was like, she's asking you for pretty basic stuff.
Oh, I know. And I read some synopsis, and I'm like, who wrote this? Where it was like, her boyfriend, Candace's boyfriend has to deal with like a demanding, or Candace is demanding in her sexual desires to her boyfriend. I'm like,
demanding.
Guys, this is light. It wouldn't even, it's not, I mean, it's like light SM.
Well, yeah.
Nothing.
I was like, I didn't see any whips or chains or like, no, like,
she was truly,
code
like,
words or what is
scratch
it?
me?
Yeah.
I mean, like, or just
safe words.
Or just, I don't know, like get a little more like aggressive. Yeah. I thought he was being a little bit of a puss, but.
Yeah. Well, that also comes back in season 2, so.
Oh my.
Gotta watch it.
Is he gay too?
No. The BDSM stuff comes back.
Oh, got it. But I do love and can get inside of his head when he was really down and offended that Ronald wasn't into him at first.
Oh.
Like,
yeah, rejection is rejection.
I love that. Where he's like, it just,
Yeah.
He's really like putting it on.
He was. I mean, I think everyone can resonate with that when you're like, I am my most charming self right now.
I'm sorry, why are you into this? No, I don't want it. Why aren't you into this?
Yeah, exactly. I'm check.
You should be here.
Yeah, but that makes me worry about you even more. And I was like,
no.
Whoa. This is a power dynamic. That's where my mind would go, and I can't see
Well,
it.
it was though with Ronald.
It was, and I was
so
like,
I mean, you're right. It
Yeah.
was a power thing with him
Yeah.
because he was into him, and you could kind of tell even at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
But then he went and got all sloppy with his best man or whatever. Oh my God! And when she shows that video, like smoking gun.
I mean, just sex sounds like.
I don't know. I mean, it was just like that is someone's nightmare. And I connect that type of denial with...
Wait, denial that somebody else is possibly gay?
Denial in general.
Oh, okay.
With hardcore narrow beliefs, because just the same kind of focus it takes. And when I say hardcore narrow, I mean thinking everyone else is wrong, not having a belief, but like, this is it. this is it, everyone else is wrong. And it's like a personality trait or something. And then like the flip side of it is, and then I just don't see what is there. And it was hysterical. I could totally see that happening.
Oh yeah. I have been thinking about like people like that a lot lately because, impeachment. But I'm like, oh my God, what a house of like, cards you live in, that if someone to question your belief in on anything would unravel. And I feel like that's what they're afraid of, is that like, oh, if I start to question too much, if I start to really really look at something, it will reveal how like shallow,
right,
or I guess like unfilled, like how much there is nothing within me.
There's nothing
I have
there.
no sense of self, like, and this is giving me self, and this is giving me cover, and this is giving me belonging. Yeah. But I was like, I don't think any of that is worth it, in my opinion, when you're hurting people.
Yeah, I think it's a self-preservation thing. Like, back to cults. There was something on Netflix.
Don't say it like that.
I love a good cult. And there was... It might have been just a short documentary or an episode of something about Nexium, and there was a cult expert. I'm like, why didn't I know that was a job when I was in college? I mean, like, yes, sign me up. Like, fun times every day, but I didn't know this was a job. I didn't think about it.
I would want to be the actor who goes in and like gets into the cult, but not the people who handle the people coming out. They're the saddest people.
No, just the people who do the study about the theory.
Like a researcher.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, I guess I could have realized, but I didn't. And she was talking about, God, I forget the name of the term. I'll have to look it up. But basically, if someone finds out that a belief that they hold so strong is incorrect, or it's shattered, or the leader is shown to be who they really are, cognitive dissonance, that typically, more likely than not, they will hold firmer to the belief. Like, in the face of this doesn't exist, they'll hold firmer, because when you shake someone's identity like that, it can have devastating consequences, and like psychological consequences, and be traumatic. And so I find that so incredibly fascinating that we as humans can do that. It's great.
Yeah, that's very fascinating, because I know like when things come up for me and I'm just like, and I have that like white hot reaction, I was like, ooh, ow. So I guess we had something else to work on. But I'm like, I recognize it within myself. It's like a white hot, like, oh, what? No,
like something about like you has been exposed.
Instantaneous rage, like. Well, just like if it's a belief, like if it's like,
okay, got it.
I don't even know what one would be right now. I'll think of one.
Yeah, belief in a pink bathroom.
Or like, I don't know, like maybe the government, like the American dream that I spent a lot of money studying.
Yeah, you
when you find the seams and the cracks and how flawed people are.
Yeah.
Institutions are. That would always like, I'm like, oh, but I believe in this. Really? I want this.
You had a 4-year degree in the American dream.
I did. Yeah.
I love that. It's hard. I find that happens sometimes when a quality of mine or a characteristic of mine that maybe I'm not ready to accept, like, comes to the surface, or something that I just have a guttural reaction to. I'll feel that same like, oh, like, why did that happen, or why did I have that reaction? And then whether or not I examine it later is another question. But that feeling where you're just like, ooh, not for now. Shut that down. Shut it down.
Oh, I feel like that's one of the strongest emotions that I even like have. But I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm like, oh, this must be examined.
Yeah. When it's about yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, good for you. I try, but sometimes I'm like, I don't have time.
Yeah. Well, I'm just, yeah.
Or I'll rationalize.
I'm so curious. And I was like, I didn't know that I felt this strongly about.
Oh, good for you. I'm not as accepting of my feelings. When they pop up, I think...
They're very rare for me.
I think, why are you having this? Like, that's my first... But, like, in a, like, shut that shit down.
Same. But, like, usually I feel emotions, but they're, like, on a 5. Like, oh, that sucks. Yay, I'm really great about... Like, I feel good about this.
Okay.
But, like, a white, hot rage, I'm like, whoa, what just happened?
Okay.
Something's off the Richter scale.
Got it.
We gotta
that makes
this
sense.
down.
Maybe
We gotta tamp this
down.
down.
My scale
tamp.
day to day is a little bit wider.
Yeah.
So I like can't examine each time that I feel like a what? Or I just like be all day. I'm like, sorry, I can't go to this meeting. I need to journal. Like when I go to my therapist and, you know, journaling is super helpful in terms of processing your thoughts. And they're like, yeah, when you feel that, before you confront someone or before you want to talk about it, journal it out. That take a goddamn hour. Like, because just the way I write, it just gets crazy. I'm like, I don't have time.
Well, that's the point.
What?
So that you don't bring someone like your rage. You bring them like supposed to.
What? It's supposed to be
It's supposed to like temper you, so you're not always bringing like rage, and the other person can hear what you're saying, and like, you know, you can explore and dialogue about a grievance.
You're gonna spend an hour journaling in the middle
calming
of the day?
down. I mean, unless you can count to 10.
Oh, well, I guess I don't really feel rage a lot. I feel more indignance sometimes.
Oh.
Yeah, there we go.
That seems like a polite rage.
Hi. Yeah, it's very waspy. Although I'm not Protestant, but yeah, it's just like a quiet indignance, and then my neck turns red, and so that's the physical part of it that you can always tell if I'm getting worked up, as I start to get all red in the neck. Mm-hmm. There you go. Watch out.
Yeah.
Watch out.
No.
Oh God. Okay, so you picked this as a romantic comedy.
This is Hillary's pick.
I keep thinking you picked it. Okay, so how would this fit into the structure of the rom-com? You are the subject matter expert in rom-coms.
Don't know that I would call this a rom-com. I think I'm going to call this a straight-up comedy.
Yeah.
I like to kind of judge a rom-com on, first and foremost, that there needs to be two lead characters.
Yeah,
it's very hard for me when there's not, because for me, the purpose of a rom-com is to show a coming of age of two characters who both are missing some aspect of that the other one has. So,
is it a manic pixie situation?
No, because they're both supposed to change.
Got it.
And usually them doing the changing is where the comedy comes in, and the romance is them, you know, changing for the better so they can be with each other or their respective other people. In the case of like Something Borrowed, like those two characters needed to grow up. They both had things that the other one needed, but they ended up with the wrong partner.
Kind of a big clusterfuck.
Yeah, that one was a clusterfuck.
But like of an ending.
Yeah, I like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, to me, is like a perfect rom-com. Perfect.
Yeah. Or Sleeping with Other People.
Yeah. Both those characters need to grow up in order to be better for each other.
Yeah. And we're both kind of going for the wrong people.
Yeah.
And then end up circling back to like who they hooked up with in college. Mm-hmm. Just funny. Oh, I never thought of rom-coms that way. I truly thought of them. I guess the characters are typically flawed in the sense that like they're either
obvious, like it should be obvious, like you shouldn't have to work
like
to
all drive, no social interaction. That I love.
Yeah,
those
like
busy businesswoman.
Yeah, Sandra Bullock on all of them, all of her rom-coms.
Busy business, no time for love.
Yeah, and then you get a Ryan Reynolds,
and then he's like, you gotta relax, and I'm here, and I'm hot, and okay, I'll live moment to moment.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and then the chaos ensues when their flaws are interacting,
right? And
then they grow up, and they're like, oh, maybe I could be a better person for me, and that would be great. But
then it seems like they are becoming a better person for the other person, which is fine if the end result is them being better anyways. Like,
if they didn't end up together, them learning whatever they learned from the opposite person is still going to benefit them. Mm-hmm. Because then the other way, I think it's a manic pixie dream girl. Like if one of them loses,
right,
you get a manic pixie.
Fascinating. Yeah, busy business Sandra.
Yeah, I love her. She's 27 Dresses is not her, but I love that movie.
Sandy
and then 2
Bullock.
Weeks Notice. 2 Weeks Notice is perfect.
What was the one where she was in rehab?
In rehab.
Oh yeah, that was.
It's a rom-com where she was in rehab.
Oh, good question.
Miss Congeniality.
Maybe it wasn't a rom-com, but it was pretty funny. It was a comedy though.
It's like, I don't know that there's a dark rom-com.
Yeah, no, there's no dark. Sandy doesn't do dark. Not really.
No, she doesn't.
Sandy's only light, but this was all com, no rom.
All com, no rom. And I would call this like this is definitely an SFL movie, TV series. This is definitely a woman-centric movie or TV series, but unfortunately not a rom-com. And I didn't know that it would be this hard to pick them out because this is kind of marketed as a rom-com.
Yeah. It's
a chick flick. I think this would be in the category for me. Well, I think chick flick sounds vapid, and I'm like, I don't like that.
And also, in chick flicks, they tend to be less, she's pretty vulgar, like, in a fun way, you know? Like, she's just rowdy. She says whatever the fuck she wants. Like, you're like, I'm sorry, you were raised in this religious family. It's hilarious. She's obviously pushing against it. Chick flicks, I tend to see they seem a little more stereotypical female.
Yeah. I think they rage against their world in a very measured way. They're like, oh.
Yeah, like my
where
indignation.
She's just like,
I chick flick it through life.
She's like kickboxing the whole world.
She does not give two shit. She has a great quote where she's like, do you have a fuck I could borrow? Because I don't have any left. And I was like, that's fabulous. Nothing to lose. Oh God. She also, I love the diversity in this in terms of just, race, interracial relationships, and also age. The older woman, like in her 60s, the white woman is like, she's not
Esther.
a big character, but like in this, but I hear she gets her own storyline and, it even involves, sex.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Women who are over the age of 30... I know. It's like,
30.
I know, but it seems
young.
like they have to be so young. I know. I guess women over the age of 50 and 60, they still have sex.
True.
And it's never shown. And there's a great quote with an interview with Michaela, and it's about chewing gum. It says, do you try to push the discussion on race and gender in a new direction with chewing gum? And she said, she really seems like Tracy in these interviews, kind of. She's like, not even just race and gender. I need to have someone who's in a wheelchair. I need to have someone who's black, gay, and male. I need to have a lesbian. There's such an absence of all of these things, so I have to try and cram them into my silly little 20-minute series. I can't just make a show solely about black girls. Of course, I'm the protagonist, so that's going to be there, but I try, even with the character of Esther. She's in her 60s, and now she's got storylines of her own in the second season, because I don't even see a 60-year-old with sex scenes. Why is that? I see a lot of shows with middle-class white people where they make jokes about every minority, but my minorities are not on the show. That's not really helping. We want jobs. I was like, girl, get it.
Yeah.
She truly did. Like, it was just a mashup, and I loved it. And I liked all of the
But everyone
characters.
fit, and they felt like they should have been there.
I know.
And that's the weird thing about, like, again, going back to, like, watching a show like this on Netflix. I think that's why, like, online streaming services are just, like, killing everyone, because you can get this on Netflix, but then you go back to, like a regular NBC show where you're like, this feels very tokeny. Like, even, like, my favorite, like, Superstore. See, it feels very tokeny. It seems like Superstore. It's America Ferrera's show, NBC.
I saw commercials for it. Is it
she's
good?
the lead. Yeah, I love that show. I love it. I watch it every week.
But it's still token.
It still feels tokeny. And I'm like, it could just be like, well, no, because they're like in St. Louis, and it's a very diverse cast.
Is
but
it
I'm
on
like
ABC?
NBC. And it just feels like maybe like, and I wonder, I'm curious about who's in the writer's room. I don't know. But for some reason, it does feel very like, you're the black guy, so you tell the black guy jokes. Like, you're the like nerdy white guy who listens to NPR, you turn on the nerdy jokes. Like
kind of
makes
like
the person like,
diversity light.
Yeah.
Like making it so.
It's literal representation. Like, literally, I see a brown person on the screen.
Yes, and I'm making it palatable for people who aren't quite ready.
Yeah.
So like it's pushing diversity, but not in a way where it is genuine. It's in a way that can be is easily digested. Drives me crazy.
Yeah, and I'm like,
it's something, but it's still like
a teeter-totter with this, because I was like, okay, well, there are like very undiverse places,
right,
where this is unfortunately some of the only representation that they're getting, and would moving too far in the other direction lose those viewers.
Yes,
because they're definitely not watching chewing gum.
They're not watching chewing gum. Where's the line? You know, where do you meet people where they're at? Like, at what point do you meet people where they're at? And at what point do you force them to meet you a little further along? Yeah. And then you want to expose people, but you don't want to lose them. And even though we think that, oh, this should be easy to just take in, come on, it's not. Yeah. It's not for them. And then that's a fundamental truth. So then how do we, and then it's the execs who are in charge, and then it's wherever the money is.
Yeah. Well, that to me is like where the writer's room comes in.
Right.
Like if you're unfortunately in a writer's room of like 7 writers, 5 of them are white, and then you've got 3 tokens, the jokes that are being thrown out might be missing the mark. And I'm like, I think introducing people to the vernacular of minority speech is is something that I might take for granted, just because like I can tell that some of the lines I'm like, then I think about Superstore, I'm gonna keep picking on them, but a lot of them are improvisers, so you can tell that like a lot of them are very skilled improvisers. So I'm like, I don't doubt that this is you maybe putting your own spin on whatever's happening, but I wish I could tell that more in other series.
Is it truthful in the vernacular? Like, is it representative, or do you think it's
for Superstore
whitewashed? Yeah.
I think it's a little whitewashed, but the show, the setting for the show is St. Louis. I don't know a lot about St. Louis.
I don't either.
So
I don't know anything, actually.
No, not at
It's
all.
a city.
Yeah, it's very southern Illinois / Missouri.
Oh, I was like, it's in Illinois?
Yeah, half of it is.
St. Louis?
Yeah. St. Louis, Missouri, St. Louis, Illinois.
I did not know that.
I think East St. Louis is
Half
in
of
Illinois.
a city
Yeah.
is in another state?
Yeah.
Blowing my motherfucking mind. Blowing my mind. No, I didn't know that. I gotta see a map.
But yeah, and I was like, I think it might be pretty representative of like, especially the Missouri side of St. Louis. Wow. It's probably very white, I'm imagining.
Yeah. And then we don't want to act like there aren't not every show needs to be diverse, because there are areas that aren't diverse. So like we do want to, I just want an authentic representation of all different parts and all different cultures. And I don't think that involves just placing people. It means like developing an authentic story that may or may not have people like different cultures, but that includes then bringing more people of different cultures and ethnicities into the writer's room. Mm-hmm. And then it's like a systemic thing. And frankly, it's representative of just how it's still very segmented in our society. Because I always think that TV and movies are truly like, it's kind of a loop, but they're representing what we are, and then we begin to represent what they are. And it just kind of, I just real stories being told, and lots of different people's stories being told.
Mm-hmm. I don't know that it has to be like super authentic. Because I would rather see a character be out of place in terms of the setting to have the representation. Oh. Like in a WASP story, and there's a Hispanic couple who are just as waspy as the rest of them, but are Hispanic and are like authentically Hispanic in their portrayal of that WASP character. Oh, I would rather see that than just have like in a WASP like show have the help be the only representation again is Latino characters as helps or gardeners or something like that. Or it's like a show about, like, I like this show because there's white people in like a housing project, which is something you don't see so often in
Shameless. Well, no, they're actually not. They're just Southside.
Yeah. But even still, like in even using Shameless, like it's white people in a situation that's like, hey,
like Dire Straits,
and you know, doing things that are so illegal. The thing I don't like about Shameless is how much they don't get caught. I want real consequences for these actions. Like, I think that's why I stopped watching Shameless.
They never get caught, and they have nothing to lose, so they do whatever.
Mm-hmm. But I'm like, I think that's very authentic to like how most minorities feel about how white people interact in the world anyway. So, nailed it. Shameless nailed it.
Yeah, if you look like Emmy Rossum,
you'll pretty much get away with anything.
I guess you're right.
Now at this point, I want you to lie to me, but I want you to lie to me so well that I don't know you're lying.
Because the authenticity piece, actually, like, while I'm like, oh, I want to hear
that
that story.
Demographics will never be in our favor.
But we're not progressive enough as a country to have that.
Right.
So,
lie to me.
And then have that become true. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh my God, maybe TV needs to create society instead.
I don't think so.
Whoa.
I wouldn't trust
in it.
I think it already is.
In it. Like in the show. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what that means.
Isn't it?
Okay. No, yeah, but sometimes they say it and it doesn't fit. Isn't it? Doesn't fit with the statement that they just said. There were times where I was like, wait, what? I'll have to pull one out. I'll pull it up. But so you just made me think of an article that I read, and it was about inclusion processes and how to make policies or make changes, like even in schools, that address equity issues and bring forth like a policy of inclusion. And one of these schools had some sort of lunch party. It was like a little special day, and it was basically, I think it was called like Diverse Friends.
Oh, I think I've heard it. I heard this.
And so they just like cram these kids that don't hang out together because obviously, you know, the brown kids are hanging out with the brown kids and the white kids are hanging out with the white kids, and everyone is naturally doing that, which is actually kind of fascinating. And I saw in college, which was like truly like a white side of the cafeteria and a black side of the cafeteria in the year 2000. I was like, wow, that's really happening. But when they interviewed some of the kids about it, the kids who were not white, one of them just said, she's like, it's racist. It's not even for us.
It's not.
And it was
it's just to socialize white people.
It's to, ooh, hello, ooh, what are you eating? What do you wear it? Like, just like, Jesus Christ. But then
it feels like a human zoo. And I'm like, 100%. I don't, yeah, I'm like, I don't.
So what do you do to get those kids? I mean, they're in a school that is diverse. You can't force people to hang out. So is there just a message at home, or like, what can you do? Because I see like, ooh, they think they're trying, but in the end, it really is unsatisfactory and offensive.
I feel like for schools, it would come down to curriculum and having emphasis on different cultures in the curriculum that's taught from day one.
There's not just one history. Black History Month.
Yeah, I'm like, celebrate Black History Month, but also do, Hispanic History Month. Yes. And not just a month, like put it in the book.
That's what I mean.
Make it something that they're studying.
I'm not saying take away Black History Month.
No.
But like that's not just the only thing. Like,
and I was like,
integrated.
Yeah, and I'm like, you're fighting against socialization that has already begun. By the time they get to school, they already know there's a difference between being brown and a difference between being white. And so them eating lunch together probably isn't going to take unless they have an interest. Like if you play sports, you're like, and you're, constantly in contact. It would be, which just sounds, again, disgusting. All the words that we have to use to describe how to teach white people not to be white is disgusting.
I know. Exposure. Yeah. Like to some sort of like communicable disease. Like Jesus. I mean, it's fascinating to me. I got to hear
poor mixed race kids just in the middle playing with no one.
God. So I like how, back to chewing gum, I like the way she did it because just like you said, it was believable. I believe that all these people were friends and hanging out with each other.
Yeah.
And that's what I liked about it.
Yeah. And I feel like she achieved that not just by throwing diversity in a building. It's the dialogue. It's the interactions. Like, they interact so naturally.
And they interact about stuff that isn't just something that would divide them as a race. Like, they're talking about just the everyday stuff. Like, how boring her boyfriend is. And they're all like, he's a little, he's a little, and everyone's
basic
partaking.
Is basic, no matter what, like,
basic
color you are. You can be basic and cinnamon colored, basic and brown, basic and white. It just means you're fucking basic.
Lies for progress, #basic.
Yeah, basic.
You basic. Oh, God, good play. You basic. Oh, girl from Arizona. Just saving heaven.
Yeah.
No, we're not really sure. I don't really know what's going on. Sometimes I get confused.
It's like they're in the medium place right now.
And the medium place is so very medium.
It's so medium.
It's just chronic masturbation and cocaine.
Yeah.
And like reruns.
That would be the worst. If I had to watch the same thing over and over again, I would literally pry my eyes out and volunteer for the bad place.
It looked sad, and it looked like it was like I love their representation, or you can tell the writers have certain feelings about just people in society. Like the reality TV. I'm like, okay, check. Like they're always bringing up like, she's like, this is what I did with my time. And I'm like, that's what I did with my time. But okay, so strong female lead. What qualifies as a strong female lead for us is the character is top billed, has agency, neighbors, and impacts.
Those are the Jehovah's Witnesses, so.
Do you have Jehovah's?
Yeah, next door.
Have they knocked on your door?
No. They just generally think that I'm going to hell, but that's fine.
Have they told you that?
No, it's just the vibe they give off. Like, they've never even tried, so that's cool. 4,400, they already got it.
You don't qualify, because you're basic.
I feel like I'd be basic if I did qualify.
You should tell them lies.
They don't do anything.
For progress.
Ugh. Watchtower.
So is she in SFL? She's definitely in SFL.
Tracy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
I mean, the whole plot is her.
Yeah.
And her reactions.
Yeah.
And her physical comedy is on fucking point.
Oh, when she thinks that she looks like Beyonce, I'm like, oh my God.
The combination of the hair and the makeup, and I'm like, why'd they do that to you?
Oh my God, I think she looked like. Have you ever seen Big Mouth? It's like an animated show on Netflix.
She looks like an animation.
Yeah, one of the animations is like a hormone monster.
Oh
but
my
like she
God.
kind of like that, just the hair and the lipstick, and I was like, oh my God, did they base this off chewing gum? Because it was made after, and I was like, the big like Beyonce hair and that like pink lipstick or lip gloss or whatever.
She looked like like a straight from Mars.
Yeah, it was like maybe like 1999 Beyonce, like straight out of Destiny's Child, straight out of Houston, maybe.
Straight out of Houston. She was that.
And I love that she's always masturbating to Jay-Z, and I was like, you're just obsessed with this couple. She's always like, I want to look like Beyonce, and she's always masturbating to Jay-Z.
She loves them.
She just loves them.
God, this was, it was so good. I loved it. What would you rate this? Yeah.
I'm going to give this show 5 Bibles being thrown at sinners.
Love that. Love that. 5.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Out of 5. 5 out of 5.
I'm going to give this 5 dildos for sale.
Ooh, washed or unwashed?
Half washed, half unwashed, and you don't know which are which. Sort of like surprise.
Ew!
God, that whole like get rich quick scheme was like beyond anything that I could.
But I just couldn't figure out, why did someone have all those dildos in their own apartment?
Yeah, where'd she find them again?
They were like hiding from the police, and so they mixed up their bag with another apartment's bag. But I was like, but why did they have so many dildos?
Was it like a sex toy party? Like a person who sells that stuff, typically?
Why would you have used them?
Why are you using the product?
What?
And selling it?
Yeah.
Eek.
Okay, guys.
Oh, God. Okay. So seriously, you guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for the listeners for reaching out on Instagram. We love you too. You can suggest a movie for us to review. You can do that on social media, or you can do that in the comments section. Leave us a review, and also rate us and subscribe on iTunes.
Yes. Don't forget to reach out to us on Twitter if you have any suggestions for movies, or you just want to chat with us about our opinions. Go ahead and reach out to us at SFL_Chicago.
Twitter. And next week, we are doing Heathers. Are not going to be here. It's very sad. But we're doing Heathers. And is it the final week of rom-com? Are we past rom-com and we just picked a random movie?
I think you guys picked a random movie, but okay.
I think I told a romantic comedy, and that's what you picked, and maybe, yeah, whatever. If you guys have seen it, it's Winona, Christian Slater, and we're going to have a guest host, so you should tune in.
Okay. Bye,
All right.
guys.
Bye.